everyone, welcome back to the class. How are you all? I hope you all are doing great. All are fine. So, students, have you watched the last chapter videos which we were doing? I hope you all have we like watched those videos and the concept about the matter, and then we have discussed about the classification of matter we have done till now, that the solid, liquid and gases are there, and in that we have come to know that what are the properties of the solid, liquid and gases and how they differ from each other. Exactly, students. So now, student, we are proceeding in this chapter. Like means we are going to discuss the further topics of this chapter. So what topics which we are going to discover? Oh, not discovered, covered today is, that is the temperature and pressure change, melting point, freezing point, boiling point, condensation, sublimation, latent heat of fusion and vaporization. So we are going to discuss all of these things in this session. Fine. And yes, students, if you have watched the last session, so maybe you have cleared your thoughts about that what's the basic difference between the solid, liquid and gases. It's not like that all of these three states of matter are there. We are having five states of matter, if you remember, that the fourth state is plasma, fifth state is the Bose-Einstein condensate. It's just that these two states of matter is not very much common, whereas the three other states are very common in nature, and even though we are we get questions from it about the solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so my students, my dear students, we are going to start with today's session, that whatever we are going to discuss here. So first topic for today it about the temperature and pressure. Okay, so what's the effect of the temperature and pressure over the solid, liquid, and gases? So, my students, if in the last session when we have discussed about the properties of solid, liquid, and gases, I have already told you this thing about that what would be the effect of temperature and pressure over the solid, liquid, and gases. So, students, again, if I draw these type of structure here, that one, two, and it is the third one. Okay, these are the boxes, and in that I'm drawing the particles. So these are the particles are present in this. So my dear students, if you remember that what can indicate the solid or what can indicate the liquid, so we'll discuss that. So you can see here, students, that this is the condition. These are the three different conditions which we are getting right now. So students, you can see that these three are different from each other. And if you remember from in the last session that what is the solid, what is the liquid and gases, so we have come to know that in the case of the solid, the particles are very close to each other, and if they are very close to each other, so there is a more force of attraction between the particles. Okay, now then we see about the liquid. So the particles are somewhat far apart from each other, they have a space between them, so we can say that force of attraction between the particles of the liquid is somewhat less. So what we can see here, students, that this is the solid, this is the liquid, and this is the gases, because particles are very far apart and they have so much space between them. That means we can say that the force of attraction here is very less, or you can say that negligible. So if I talk about the force of attraction, that is the force of attraction, if I talk about, so it's just that the solids are having more force of attraction, then it is liquid, and then it is the gases. Okay, so it is the S and it is L and it is G. Okay, so that's the condition, student. Then from solid to liquid to gases, the force of attraction decreases between the particles and the space increases, and due to that space increase, we can say that the particles are far apart from each other. Exactly. Now students, we have talked about. Okay, so for the temperature and pressure, students, I have one video which I am going to show you right now. So just look at that video and your thoughts will be get cleared. Okay, so look at this video.
Effects of temperature and pressure on matter. The kinetic theory of matter states that matter is composed of a large number of small particles that are in constant motion. The theory also explains the effect of pressure and temperature on states of matter. Temperature causes change in states of matter. As temperature increases, heat is absorbed in the form of energy. The kinetic energy of the molecules of a solid increases on absorption of heat, and they begin to vibrate with larger amplitude.
So students, they are talking about the temperature, that when you can see in the three picture that the particles of the solids are very close to each other, and in the liquid they are somewhat far apart, and the gases they are very much far apart, so they can move very easily. And even though if you remember from the last session, I have talked about one of the energy which we call as the kinetic energy, the energy which develop when something is in the motion. Exactly. So student, if and I have already told you that the particles of the gases are far apart, that is why the gases are having the more kinetic energy as compared to other two states of matter. So student, they are talking about that what would be the effect of temperature right now over the solids. So what the function of the temperature is, that when we increase the temperature, so obviously there will be the change in the state of matter. Okay, so now they have shown you that if there is a solid, and if we if we rise the temperature, so the particles start moving, but those particles will not find out any of the space to move here and there. So what they'll do, they just start vibrating at their mean position, or at their particular position at where they are present in the solid. So that's the point about the solid molecules. Fine. So look at here.
When a fast-moving particle collides with a slower-moving particle, it transfers some of its energy to the slower-moving particle, thereby increasing the speed of the slow-moving particle.
You can see they are vibrating so much.
As high energy or high heat slowly diffuses across the material, the molecules of the solid break free the intermolecular forces. Gradually, there is a phase change from solid to liquid.
So see students, when the particles are vibrating at their mean position and we are giving them more and more heat, so they are absorbing more and more heat. And when they are absorbing the more heat, so what will happen student, that heat which we are providing them, it will try to break down the force between the particles which the solid particles are having. And when that force of attraction is going to be decreased, and there is a space between the particles, so obviously student, that solid state of matter is going to be converted into the liquid. So that's the effect of the temperature over the solid. That means if we increase the pressure, if we increase the temperature in the case of the solid, so what will happen, that the particles start vibrating at their particular positions. And what happened, if one of the particle is having very high kinetic energy, so that's how they will transfer their energy from one particle to another particle, and that heat will overcome the force of attraction between the particles, and they will move far apart from each other. And that's how student solid converts into the liquid. If we call about ice, so the ice particles, when we take out the ice from the refrigerator, so what will happen, that so the temperature of the atmosphere is higher as compared to the temperature of the refrigerator, so they will absorb that heat and they will convert into the liquid. Similarly students, whenever we require to melt any metal, iron, that was iron metal, for example iron sheet or something like that, so what will happen, we heat it, and when heat is there, so it will going to be melt. So that's the example, that when we increase the temperature in the case of the solid, so that solid is going to be changed into the another state of liquid, which is the into the another state of matter, that is liquid. Now the similar condition with the liquid as well, then that when we increase the temperature, so the liquid is going to be converted into the gases because of the vibration of the particles, and particles can move here and there. So what we can see students, that we can see here students, like when the temperature is increasing, okay, when temperature increases, so what I can see, that the particles are moving freely, that the particles move easily. And if they are moving easily students, so what we can find out, that the kinetic energy is going to be increased. So we can say that when temperature increases, kinetic energy also increases. If temperature decreases, so kinetic energy also decreases. So my dear students, if I say when the temperature is increasing, okay, so I'm writing when the temperature is increasing, so So solid is going to convert into the liquid, and the liquid is going to convert into the gas form. For example, student, when you heat the water, so water converts into the vapor form. Why? Because the particles of the liquid are getting more of the heat and they are moving far apart from each other, because their kinetic energy is increasing. If the kinetic energy of the particles are increasing, so definitely they will move far apart from each other, and that's how they convert into the third state of matter, that is the gas. So this is the condition when temperature increases. But now student, if I say when temperature decreases, when we are decreasing the temperature, so if the temperature is decreasing, so obviously kinetic energy of the particle is also going to be decreased, and in this case the kinetic energy will increase. Fine. So students, when temperature decreases, so there will be the reverse process, that gas converts into liquid and liquid converts into the solid. So that's the two conditions, student, if you see here. So it's just that what you have to remember is that when we give some temperature to any solid, liquid or gases, so it's just that the particles are start moving from here to there, because their kinetic energy increases, because they, you can say that they start moving here and there. And when the kinetic energy increasing, so what we'll find out that the particles try to move far apart from each other, and that's how student solid changes to liquid and liquid changes to gas. And the reverse of it is there. When the temperature decreases, if we are decreasing the temperature, so what will happen that the particles will not try to move here and there. That means the energy of the particle is now less, so they will not try to move here and there. They will just what we can say that they will just remain at their position, and that's how their kinetic energy decreases, and there will be the reverse of the state of matter. Exactly. You can also understand this thing, that we are having two students in class, and one student is having very high energy. That means he is always very active. So what he'll do, that he will just go from here to there here, and that's how he creates so much of mess in the class. But the another student which is very much calm, very you can say that very wise, he just keep quiet and just sitting in the class and listen all of the thing. So I can say that its kinetic energy is very less, so it can't convert into any other form. But the student which is having a very high kinetic energy, it is going to be like move here and there. So because that student, when the particles are having high energy, so definitely they will try to move here and there, due to which we see the state, like there is the change of the state of matter. So this is the topic about the temperature, students. Okay, now what's the effect of the pressure if we talk about? So my dear student, even though in the last session I have told you that the pressure is thing then when we apply the force over something, so it depends upon their compressibility. Like student, in the last session we have also discussed that the compressibility of the solids is very less as compared to liquid and then gases. So if we talk about compressibility, so in the compressibility, student, it is like that the solid, then it is liquid, and then it is gases. It is because that the particles of the gases are very far apart from each other. It is because particles are far apart from each other. So that's the reason, student, in the case of the gases, the particles are very far apart, and that is why what will happen if we try to compress it, so the particle will try to come closer to each other, and when they try to come closer to each other, students, so what will happen that the force of attraction will be there, and then there will be the change of the state of matter. So what we can say that when the pressure increases, so it's a condition when the pressure increases, student, so gas convert into the liquid, and then liquid convert into the solid. It is the condition when pressure is increasing and the particles are coming towards each other, and their force of attraction is developing, and that's how the states of matter is changing. And if the pressure decreases, so again, student, it will be the reverse of it, because particles will try to move here and there, and that's how there will be the reverse of it. Fine. So this is the effect of the temperature and pressure over the states of matter, and you will see that there will be the changing of the state if the temperature or pressure is changing. Okay, depending upon whether it is increasing or it is decreasing. So that's the condition, students. So it's the effect of temperature and pressure, and I hope you got this point. Fine. Now coming to the melting point, that what's the melting point at, student? So it's the melting point of the solid, which tells about that what's the strength of the force of attraction is there between the particles. See, students, how melting will yeah, we can say that the melting point is the point where, or the temperature at which solid starts like the solids converts to liquid. That means when the solids converting into the liquid, that this temperature is called as the melting point. For example, student, at 0 degrees Celsius, what we say that the water freezes to ice, whereas at the zero, if we reverse that condition, so the solid will convert into the liquid at that, so that temperature is called as the melting point, students. Fine. So we, how they're saying that it told about the strength of the force of attraction between the particles, because students, all of the things, all of the states of matter which we are having in our surrounding, they all are having different melting point. If any of having very high melting point, so what we can say that the force of attraction between the particle is very high, due to which we have to give more temperature so that we convert it from one temperature, from one state of matter to another state of matter. Exactly. If I say here that the solid will require more temperature as compared to liquid to convert into their other state of matter, because of their force of attraction difference. The force of attraction in the solids are more, so it will require more temperature to overcome that force and convert into the liquid. Whereas the force of attraction in the case of the liquid, it is less. Exactly. So it will not require that much temperature, but it will convert into the gases. So the melting point, student, is that temperature at which solid convert into the liquid. So that is called as the melting point. And yes, it will tell about the strength between the like strength of the force of attraction between the particles. Okay, and how, if we are having A, if we are having B, if A is having the melting point of 100 degrees Celsius and B is having the melting point of like 150 degrees Celsius. So we can say that the 150 degrees Celsius is high melting point. So that means it will having the more force of attraction as compared to A. That is why it will require more temperature to convert from solid to liquid. So what's the melting process, student, first of all? So first of all, melting process is that process in which solid converts to liquid. For example, ice converting into the water, and the temperature at which it will happens, the temperature at which it happens, it's called as its melting point. Fine. So I hope you got this point, that what's the melting point is. Now coming to the next thing, boiling point. So students, what's the melting point is? Melting point when the solid converts to liquid. So the boiling point is that temperature at which liquid converts into the vapors. But we are having two things, that is the evaporation and the boiling point. Boiling, so in the evaporation, student, what will happen, that the boiling point will we can say that the vapor pressure of the liquid, that the pressure which is exerting by the vapors over the surface of the liquid, we call it as the vapor pressure. So when the vapor pressure is lesser than the atmospheric pressure, student, then till then we call it as the evaporation. That means you can see that there is no bubble formation. But when that vapor pressure reaches to equal to the atmospheric pressure, so you will see the bubble. That means the water is getting boiled. You can see, like if you have seen that initially when we take water in pen and we start boiling it, so initially we don't get any sound, but after some time, if it get more heat up, so what will happen, we can hear the sound of the good as well. So it's the boiling, because in the case of the boiling, what will happen, the vapor pressure become equals to the atmospheric pressure, and in that condition, the all of the liquid converts into the vapors, and we can see the bubbles also. Okay, so the boiling point for any material is that temperature at which material transform from we can say that from liquid to the gas phase. So it's the condition, and we'll see more difference between the evaporation and boiling. Okay, so there is the difference, that in the case of the evaporation, boil, that we can say that it is below, that the evaporation will take place below the boiling point. For example, student, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So when the water is heated up to 78 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Celsius, then we can say that the water is evaporating. But when the temperature reaches to 100 degrees Celsius, then we can say that the water is boiling. Okay, so that's the difference. Very minute differences there. In the case of evaporation, we don't find out bubbles. It's just that the vapors are forming. But in the case of boiling, there will be more vapors. You can say more vapors will be formed, and as well as bubbles will also there. So what's the boiling, students? If I write down it here, that when liquid converts to solid, well, sorry, when liquid converts to gases. For example, water converting into the water vapors. Okay, and the temperature at which it does, we call it as its boiling point. And I hope you got the difference between the evaporation and the boiling point. For example, student, I am writing here, for example, if the boiling point of the water, that is the H2O, is 100 degrees Celsius, so if the water is heated up to 78 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Celsius, so we say that the water is evaporating. That means it is the temperature when it is not equal to its boiling point. But when it is heated to 100 degrees Celsius, so we say the water is boiling at this position, at this point. So this is the boiling point, students. I hope you are getting everything. Okay. So coming to the freezing point. So now student, we have seen that the solid converts into liquid melting, liquid convert into gases boiling. Now we'll do the reverse of it. How? Freezing point. Freezing point. For example, student, you are having water in one tray and you put into the freezer. So what you are doing? You are freezing water, na? Because of, for what purpose the freezer is used or refrigerator is used? To freeze something. So that's how, student, we are freezing that water into the solid form. For example, student, ice creams. How ice creams are formed? First of all, we have them in the form of the liquid, and then we freeze them, and then we get the solid form of the ice cream. That is why, student, always the temperature of the ice cream has to be maintained. If the temperature is going to be increased, so eventually it is going to convert into the liquid only. Exactly. So that is why, student, the freezing is the process in which the liquid state converts back to the solid state by decreasing the temperature. That means the freezing point is the temperature at which liquid change to its solid state from liquid to solid at atmospheric pressure. So that is the freezing point, students. What's the freezing is? Freezing that the liquid is converting into solid. For example, water converting into the ice. And you know this thing that water is having the 0 degree Celsius, its freezing point. That means at that temperature, the water converts into the ice. So the similar thing happens, student, in the case of the winter seasons. The areas or the places which are very cold in nature. So what happened? Their temperature decreases to 5, -4, -5. Even it can goes to -10 as well. So at that temperature, what they will find out, you will find out the snowfall will be there. Why? Because the water droplets which are present in the atmosphere, it is going to be converted into the ice form, because the water is having the freezing point of 0 degree Celsius. And when the temperature is going to be reduced at that point, so exactly, student, you can say that the temperature is decreased, so that liquid form of the water is converting into the ice, and you can see the snowfall at that point. So that's the freezing point, student. The temperature at which the freezing of liquid to solid takes place, we call it as the freezing point. Now condensation. What's the condensation, student? So condensation is the phenomena when the gas converts into the liquid. For example, if I show you what is the condensation. See, student, this condensation process, you can see how. Like, I can tell you one activity. Take one, what you can do is take one pan and carry some water in it and heat that water. But cover that, okay, when you heat it up, so cover that water with one of the plate. Okay, after some time, when you open that plate, so you will find out that vapors are present over the surface of that plate. Now when you put that plate aside, when you remove that plate from that pan, so after some time, what you observe, that there are some tiny droplets of water over the surface of a plate which was vapor. So what happens, student, when you decrease the temperature, that means the pan is having a high temperature because we are heating it. And when you remove that plate from that point, so what happened, its temperature is decreases. So when the temperatures decreases, students, what will happen, that vapor form converts into the liquid droplets. So it's the condensation process, student, when vapor converts into the liquid or the temperature, at that temperature we call it as the condensation process. Fine, student. So it's the condition, you can also see that it is undergoing the effect of temperature. When the temperature is increasing, so solid, liquid, gas, this is the sequence of changing. But when the temperature is decreasing, gas, liquid, solid, this is the sequence of changing. Exactly, which we have already discussed right now about the effect of temperature and pressure. So this is the condensation process. Now if we talk about the last process, that is the sublimation. So the sublimation process is that process, student, in which solids directly converts into the gas and gas directly converts into the solid. So this process is called as the sublimation process. See, changing of solid directly into vapors on heating and of vapors into solid on cooling. That means when I am increasing the temperature, so the solid is directly converting into the gases. That means particles are vibrating with so much of energy that they directly convert into the gas. They will not first convert into liquid. They will directly convert into the gas, and when I cool that vapor form, so it will convert into the solid. So that process is called as the sublimation process. For example, student, you can see here in this picture, this is the ammonium chloride salt, and we have taken it in the china dish, and we are heating it. Okay, we are heating it, and we have covered up we have covered up with this with some of the cotton ball. Now when we are heating it, so this ammonium chloride is directly converting into the vapors. You can see that the vapors are collecting at the surface of this tube, exactly tube like structure. So these are the vapors of the ammonium chloride, and when you remove it from there and if you cool it, so that will again convert into the ammonium chloride. So this is the sublimation process. For example, camphor is there, camphor which on directly convert into gas. Naphthalene balls are there which directly convert into the gas. So these are the substance or the states or the matter which directly convert from solid to gas and gas to solid depending upon the temperature. So we call it as the sublimation process. Fine, I hope you all get this point. So these all are the process, student, which we have studied till now. But now the another term comes here, that is the latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. So what is that, student? So we have one video here. We'll look at this and then we'll come to know that what's the latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization. See, student, melting process is having the another name which we called as the fusion. Okay, so don't get confused here. So that means in the latent heat of fusion, what we can see, if it is the melting process, so the solid is converting into the liquid. So we can say that when the 1 kilogram of the solid completely converts into the liquid, the temperature which we require the heat, so we call it as the latent heat of fusion. And the heat of the vaporization, so the liquid is converting into the gas. That means we can say that when the 1 kilogram of the liquid converts into the gas, that heat from that heat, so we call it as the latent heat of vaporization. But what the actual concept is, okay, so just look at here.
In the last video, we saw that when we heat ice in a beaker, the temperature rises till the melting point of ice, that is 0 degrees Celsius, is reached. Once the melting point is reached, the temperature does stay at 0 degree till whole of ice gets melt into the water.
See, student, what he is telling that when the temperature is minus 10 degrees Celsius, so the water is present in the ice form, and when we start heating that ice, so when the temperature reaches to 0 degrees Celsius, so what we can see that the ice is melting into the water. But once it reaches to the 0 degrees Celsius, that it is converting into the water, but after that point the temperature is not going to be increased. That is, after the 0 degrees Celsius it is not going to be increased. For example, student, if you have taken the ice as one of the beaker and then you start heating it, okay, and that temperature of that ice is minus 10 degrees Celsius, but when it reaches to 0 degrees Celsius, so what you will see that yes, ice is continuously converting into the water, but the temperature is not increasing. So what's the point behind it?
Since the burner continuously supply heat energy, the question arises where that energy goes. To understand this, let us have a look at the particle level of ice.
So student, the question is that when we are like continuously heating it and the continuously it is converting into the liquid, so where that temperature is going on, because it has just stopped at the 0 degrees Celsius, it is not going to be increased further that. So what's the reason behind it? So just look at here.
Since ice is solid, all the particles are well ordered and held by a strong interparticle attractive force. However, particles keep vibrating at their place. When the energy is supplied to ice, in the form of heat through burner. The particles absorb the heat and converts this heat into the kinetic energy for themselves. As a result, their vibration increases. This increased vibration gets recorded by the thermometer as increase in temperature. This happens till the melting point of ice is reached. As the melting point of ice is reached, the heat energy is now utilized to weaken the interparticle forces. One after another, the interparticle forces are weakened, leaving the particles free to move. This is the conversion of matter into liquid state. In this duration, the temperature does not rise, since all the heat energy supplied by burner gets utilized in weakening of the interparticle forces. Because of the weakened interparticle forces, the structure of the solid collapses and cannot hold its shape. This is the conversion of solid into liquid. Since during this conversion of solid to liquid, the kinetic energy of particles remains unchanged, the temperature also remains unchanged, that is at 0 degrees Celsius. During this phase of conversion of ice into water, the heat energy utilized for weakening of the interparticle forces is called the latent heat of fusion. This
So student, have you seen that what happened that we are giving the temperature? So when the temperature we are giving and the ice is converting into the water, so so what happened that when temperature is increasing, so they will that the ice particles is in the solid form, so they are orderly arranged and they have the more force of attraction. Exactly. But when the temperature is increasing, so they start vibrating at their position, as we have discussed this thing already. So when they start vibrating at this position and and so what happened when the temperature reaches to 0 degree Celsius, the which is the melting point of the ice, it is not going to be increased further, because the temperature which we are giving to the heat which we are giving to that ice, it that heat is going to be converted into the form of the kinetic energy, due to which the particles of the ice start vibrating more. And when the kinetic energy will be more developing, so what will happen, the force of attraction is going to be decreased and the particles will try to move here and there, and that's how their force of attraction decreases. And we can say that the change, there will be the change in the state of matter, that means the shape of the solid is going to be changed into the liquid. And when it happens, so we call it as the latent heat of fusion, because the extra amount of the energy or the extra heat which we are giving to the giving to the ice, so that the kinetic energy will develop and there will be the less force of attraction and it converts into liquid, that heat is called as the latent heat of fusion. Fine student. And this will be the same condition for the latent heat of vaporization. For example, we are taking liquid, and when the temperature liquid is converting into the vapor until we are reaching to the 100 degrees Celsius, that means they are having less kinetic energy. But when once the temperature reaches to the 100 degrees Celsius and we are continuously giving it heat, so that heat will again convert into the kinetic energy of the particles, and the particles will try to move far away from each other, and the distance will be there between the particles, and that's how the liquid converts into the vapor. And that amount of the heat is called as the latent heat of vaporization, when liquid change into the gas. So you can say that the heat or the amount of heat which is required to completely convert 1 kilogram of solid into the liquid, we call it as the latent heat of fusion or latent heat of melting. And then the amount of the heat required to convert 1 kilogram of liquid to gas, then we call it as the latent heat of vaporization. So these are the condition, and we also call them as the hidden heat. Because students, once the temperature is reached to their melting point or the boiling point, after that the temperature is not increasing, because the heat which we are giving to that particular state of matter, that heat is converting into the kinetic energy. And that kinetic energy, what it will do, it will try to weaken the force between the particles, and that's how they will go far away from each other. And when they will go far away from each other, definitely there will be some distortion in their shape, and when the solid got distorted, so it converts into liquid, and liquid converts into the gas. So it's the latent heat of vaporization and latent heat of fusion. So I hope you understand these topics. Fine. So now moving towards, okay, now the question comes, which of the following diffuses faster, a gas or a liquid? I think this question is very easy for you now, because we know this thing that the gases having the more space between their particles, the force of attraction is very negligible, or we can say that very less, due to which we can say that the gases diffuses faster as compared to liquid. Exactly, as we have taken the example of food, smell of food, deodorant smells, and we have seen that the gases are having the faster rate of diffusion as compared to liquid, because they depending upon the space between their particles. Gas diffuses faster than liquid, and the reason is that only that the force of attraction is less, distance is more, and due to which the particles can move easily, and that's how the diffusion process is faster in liquid, oh sorry, gases. What's the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius? See, students, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. That means at 100 degrees Celsius, it is going to be converted into the vapor form. So the 250 degrees Celsius is greater than 100 degrees Celsius. So definitely all of the water is present into the vapor form. And at the 100 degrees Celsius, it you can say that some of the water will be present in the liquid form and some of the present in the gaseous form. So you can say that it is the transition state. When the two state exist together, we call it as the transition state. For example, student, you have also seen when you are boiling the water, so you can see that some liquid is present, some water is present in the pen, whereas some water is getting evaporating. Exactly, it's not like that you are just started heating and all of the water suddenly converts into vapor. It's not like that. So that state or the temperature at which the both of the state of matter exists simultaneously, we call it as the transition state. So at the 100 degrees Celsius, it would be the condition that the liquid and the vapor both are present. Okay. Suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gases. So it can be achieved by either increasing the pressure or decreasing the temperature. Exactly, student, if you increase the pressure, so what will happen that the gases will come close to each other and they will get converted into the liquid state. And if you decrease the temperature also, so what will happen, the kinetic energy is going to be decreased, as you can see here, that the kinetic energy is going to be decreased and the gas will convert into the liquid. So these two things you can do to compress the gas, that either you can increase the pressure or decrease the temperature so that they will convert. So what will happen now, that the space between the particles will get reduced and they will come closer to each other, force of attraction will develop, and there will be the another state of matter. So all these things we can do, students. Okay, so this much we have to cover up today. Exactly, and I hope you get each and every point, my students. It's just that we have discussed all of these things already in the previous session. It's just the addition part of it, but I hope you got each and everything. And yes, students, if you have any query, any doubt in your mind regarding this video, regarding these concepts, so you can post your question over the forum, on private as well as the public forum of the Ask IITians, and you will get your answer easily, and that's how your topics will get cleared. And yes, please keep learning, and please keep watching the videos, you can say that continuously or periodically, so that you will not miss any part, you will not have any gap, and you will get all of the concept very clearly. Okay, students, and yes, one more thing, keep learning from Ask IITians, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you.